This is Ray with School of Racing Graphics. In this video, I'm going to go through an updated graphic, show you how I'm going to use it differently. If you've already purchased graphic 063, then there's a download for you in your account center, completely free. You can just go get it. After I released this graphic, I had somebody who reached out to me and just said, hey, it would have been awesome if you would have put the wrap layout that you designed in the graphic because it would make it a lot easier to use. And so I just now got around to doing that. Before, it just included all of these elements. So now this background element is included, which is a seamless, it's a seamless pattern. So you could put it in any shape and it'll tile seamlessly. So you change the colors and tile it. So that's what I'm going to do here in this video. I'm going to give a bunch of good design tips as I go along. I'll show you that layout. I got it in here just as a JPEG so you can see it. This is the card that I had originally designed with the graphics. So I'm going to go ahead and do it on a dirt late model. I'm going to do something completely different. I'm going to stay with the same color theme. If you guys have any questions while I'm going along, just go ahead and shoot them in the comments. I'll do my best to pay attention and answer anything that I can. So I'm going to start off with, one second here. I'm going to go here to the internet. You can see here, this is where you can find the graphic. If you've already purchased it, it'll say right here, you've already purchased this, and then it'll provide a link to your account center where you can go and re-download the fresh files. The inspiration for this type of graphic is actually called a Dazzle camouflage graphic. So if you research World War II Dazzle ships, and then click images. So you'll see this was kind of the style of ships back in World War II. And the reason that they designed them this way and painted them this way was that when another ship was trying to shoot it, they couldn't determine where on the ship to shoot because the shapes on the design were so obscure. So this is how they painted them. So you see, if you look at this one here, it's really hard to tell where the main part of the ship is that you want to hit. And so that's why they painted them that way. So if that was off in the distance, you wouldn't really be able to tell what you were shooting at. So that's where this style of graphic comes in. That's the inspiration behind it. I'm going to be adding a bunch more of those types of things to the website. All right, so without further ado, let's get crack-a-lacking at this design. So I'm just going to grab some elements and I'm going to show you how I typically like to break apart and use these. And that's the reason I'm doing this demo is sometimes I get emails where people say I'm stuck. I have your graphic, but I don't really know how to use it. So I want to show you what the possibilities are with using these graphics. So I'm just going to bring this in, and this is kind of like an asymmetrical sort of design. And so it's not like things have to be perfectly laid out. It's meant to look a little bit, I don't know, that, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. The angles don't have to be perfect. The lines don't have to be perfect. It just has to kind of have that troublemaker kind of a feel, I guess you can call it. I'm going to make sure that's in the graphic layer. You can see I got a bunch of layers here. I'm going to delete that out. And we're going to take this guy, we'll put it here. So I'm just going to put that there for now, and I'll grab this guy here. I'll bring him in. And never do I take anything out of the box as is and put it in to my cars or wrap designs. I just always am taking them, breaking them apart, cutting them, doing all kinds of different things with them, just getting new ideas. So I'm just going to kind of place these in here really rough. And this design is, I'm not going for perfection here. I'm just more so going for some basic ideas. Now, one of the rules I am following here, which is important, especially when you got random shapes, is I am following this angle here on the 6. You know, just giving some relation to the graphic. This part down here basically has no relation to the number, so it's kind of random, and that's what I want. I want it to have that mischievous kind of, you know, mischievous feel to it. So I'm going to keep sizing this down just a little bit. Kind of bring it over here, something like that. Bring it down a little bit more. somewhere in there. I might move that around some more in a little bit. And then I'll bring this one down. And this one, I'm actually going to follow the angle on the 63. And I think my angle is 30 degrees, but I'm just, for the sake of time in the video, I'm just going to eyeball that in. I want my gap here and my gap here to be kind of the same. And this is something that is going to be really important whenever you're designing, especially with straight line graphics, is that you understand your tools in Adobe Illustrator, or even in whatever design software you're using, Flexi or Corel. Understanding how to manipulate points on a shape without manipulating the entire point. So I'm going to use the lasso tool here. It's found in the toolbar. Just click the white arrow tool, the direct select tool is what it's called, and then the lasso tool becomes an option. Then I can just pick the nodes that I want to instead of selecting the whole thing. So I'm just going to circle the area I want to select. It's going to be right there. So you can see these are not selected. These are not selected. Then I'm going to hit A, and that's going to get me back to the direct select tool. And then I'm just going to click on one of the pieces here that that was already selected, and I'm just going to bring it up. Just kind of helps solidify the graphic a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to leave it like that. And I don't mind that the sponsor's touching it. I don't mind any of that right now because I'm going to adjust that as I go through. And this is what I call, a basic, like a basic number trap. So it's got your graphic wrapping around your number. I call it a number trap because it helps the number to stand out, which is super important. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in. Just like that, and then send it to back. When I say send to back, I'm really just sending it behind the two graphics like that. Okay, for now. And what that does is it really makes the 6 and the 3 pop out. And I want to say too, like in this industry, you don't need to make all of your numbers. They don't all have to have outlines. I'm not going to put outlines on this number. I'm going to leave it just crisp, just like that. It'll be super readable, really nice looking. So I'm going to go ahead and just erase a piece of this. I'm just using the eraser tool, or you can see that it shows the shortcut. So it's Shift E. And then I'm just going to hold the Shift key while erasing, and it's going to make while I pull down, and it makes a straight line through. And then I know I can get rid of these extra parts here that are going into places on my design that I don't want them to. I could actually just get rid of a little bit more of that. Okay, so that's got a pretty good idea of what I'm doing here. Now I'm going to grab the main piece, or the updated piece here. Like I said, this is seamless. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to bring it over. I'm going to add the swatches for now. That. And I'm going to create 3 of these. That, because I'm going to do different colors. So I have a pink one I'm going to do. So I'm going to use this light pink color. Then I'm going to use the black, and I'm going to turn it the darker. So it's kind of like a two-tone. And I'm going to turn these silvers just that pinkish color, something like that. And then I'm going to, on this one, I'm just going to take this and leave it, but I'm going to turn the lighter silver the same. So we got the same. So we've got 2 of those. And then I want a white version. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to turn it white. And then the background is just going to be a lighter gray. So I'm going to turn it black and then really lighten it up like that. And then these silvers here, again, I'm going to turn them white. I believe that's white. Let me take a look here. We got, yep, white. So now I have 3 pretty subdued patterns. If I want, I can go back through and adjust them later. But for now, I think I'm good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this into my swatches palette. And when you drop it in, it becomes a fillable pattern. So if you're in Flexi or Corel, there's a different way to do that. I'm not going to address how to do that, but you could do the same exact thing. I think in Flexi, you right click and say turn to fill or something like that. But now you can see it's a seamless pattern. It's really big, but there's no breaks in it. Everything just goes seamlessly. So if you're working in like iRacing and you've got a mapped out or a skin mapped out, you could just throw this anywhere onto the side of the car, and it will pattern across the car, or at least it should in theory. Okay, so I'm going to take this white space here, and I'm going to fill it with this guy here. I don't want anything major happening, or I just want it to fill it and look got the detail, but it's not like taking too much attention away. So I'm going to throw that in and then just fill that white with that. And I'll zoom in here in a second so you can see it. And then I've already dropped the pink one in. It's pinkish, kind of magenta. And then I got the black one I'm going to throw in there as well, because we're going to use that guy in a different instance. So a lot of times when I'm doing these cars, I'm making executive decisions as I go. I have a little bit of the idea in my head, but some of it is as I go, I'll tweak and then undo things and redo things just to kind of see where I want to land. So it's a lot of experimenting. It's not exactly like a perfect science, and anything creative, it never is. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm actually going to delete these shapes out of here. I don't like them for right now. I'm going to delete that as well. And I'm going to modify this black here. So I'm going to really simplify this black shape here. And I'm going to turn it. Let's see what I want to do. Yeah, I'm going to go like this, pull it up. Like that. And I'm going to do the same with this guy here. Just get the car kind of. And I don't typically clean up my work as I'm going. I typically do it at the end. So I'll cut extra stuff off and things like that, because I might want to save a piece or use a piece for something different. So, like this stuff just hanging off here. If I was going to, keep designing and I knew I wanted to use that, maybe I wouldn't cut that off. But at the end, I'm just going to take my eraser tool, hold down shift and do a horizontal strike through, and it gives it a nice clean line. And then you don't got extra data in your file. And then your file also doesn't, it's not doing all kinds of other weird things when you're trying to make clipping masks. So it's just, keeping a neat workflow. So I clean all that up typically at the end. So I'm going to select both of these and I'm going to fill it with that pink like that. And so now you can see we got the dazzle effect going through, and I can move that anywhere because it's a fill. I can bring it anywhere on the car and it'll fill it, and it's no problem, right? Super easy to work with. Okay. And the other thing you can do too in Illustrator is whenever you have a fill like this, you can hold down the tilde key, which the tilde key, I'll type it so you know what it looks like. Nope, not that. Let's see, like that key. When you hold the tilde key and you have size it up, and you have a shape, you can then move the pattern around in the shape like that. So you hold down tilde and then you can pull it along until you get it to a place where you like it. So I'm just going to leave it for now. Might adjust this just a little bit. Because what if there's like there's a couple of spots, like see this gray spot here. It would be cool in some instances, but like if I just get a big gray spot there in the middle of the number, kind of takes away some of the action that's happening there in the graphic. So I'm going to move that up. Okay. And then another instance too, really important. I must have deleted the white one, huh? So I could pull that back out. That is you can size it up. So again, and then I can just hold down Option in Illustrator and just go over the swatch, and it'll just replace the swatch and replace it in the car. So you can see now all the details are bigger. So there's a lot of experimenting that you can do. So I'm going to go back, get it back to where it was. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead, and I don't like this white, black, white, black, white, black. In some instances that would work. But in this particular instance, I don't really care for it. So I'm going to delete that out. Just get some black, bold lines in there like that. And then I don't mind too, in this particular instance, these lines not being perfectly lined up, because again, when you look at the Dazzle warships, like nothing is exactly symmetrical. It's kind of, thinner, thicker, farther away, closer together lines. And so nothing's like perfect. So it's okay to kind of get it out of alignment. Now, I don't mind this one being out of alignment. I do want this one to be in alignment with the 3. Just because it kind of looks nice and it flows well with the design. But even if it wasn't, it wouldn't totally botch the design. But you just got to think it through the type of style that you're going to go for. You could purposefully misalign it, and somebody's going to call you out and be like, why don't you align that? And it was just your your choice as a designer. You were just making that was an executive decision that you decided to make. So anyway, just things to think through as you're going, and how you want to think that kind of stuff through. All right, so I'm going to adjust my pink a little bit here. Like that. Just kind of give it a little bit fatter here, and maybe like thicken it up here. I'm going to double click this. That. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and take this guy here. I'm going to turn it. No, I already did, so I don't need to. And then I can just throw that one in here. And notice what I'm doing with the details. I'm not doing anything incredibly overwhelming. Like when there's a lot of contrast, sometimes it can really ruin a design. So like the details that go into the background, I don't want them to have I don't want them to pull a ton of attention. I just want them to be noticeable. So you got to think that kind of stuff through, because when stuff gets overwhelming or overbearing, sometimes it could draw too much attention. So now you can see all these little shapes here doing the same pattern, but just with some white. So I don't particularly like it. So I'm going to leave it black like that, kind of leave it that boldness. Okay, something like that. And then this yellow in this particular sponsor here is kind of the only yellow that's really in the design. And so I want to, you want to balance your designs out, your wrap designs out, especially when you have a pop color like that. So we have pink and we have yellow, which are two active colors. So you got active colors and you got passive colors. So active colors are, like your warm colors, orange, yellow, red. You got passive colors that are more pale, blue, purples, things like that. So the active colors really stand out. So these are two colors that really stand out. So I always try to find balance. If I have a non-negotiable logo where I can't negotiate the colors, then I try to bring it throughout the design so that the design has a theme that matches. So I'll just throw a quick outline here, and we'll set it to the outside. Maybe set it to. I'm not working in actual sizes, so this is a quick and dirty. Usually I would be working in like 1 inch, 2 inch, half-inch increments, things like that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set that to the yellow like that. And I know some people, they don't like yellow against white. I prefer yellow against white. To me, it kind of creates a cool effect. So it's just designer preference. I prefer it. We're going to go 1.5 there. Let's go 1. And we'll do the same thing here. Set it to the outside. So now we're bringing that yellow throughout. And I could probably put a thin yellow outline on the 63. I'm not going to do that just to save myself time, but you get the basic idea. Then the same exact thing with, the black graphics. So now I've got a lot of different options that I can do because I've got those 3 fills made. And so I can play with a lot of other shapes that I haven't really introduced yet. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off numbers and sponsors. Got this guy here. Okay. And I can just start inserting some random shapes as long as they work. You got to kind of pay attention. So I'm going to turn that black, make sure the fill's selected. Turn that black like that, right? So now you can see you got kind of another shape there. Some guys like to have a little sticker on their nose. So I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. Like that. Just a little point, kind of brings the rest of the design throughout. And I might change it up a little bit. A similar style is called Camo Cloud. So this is called Dazzle Camo. Camo Cloud is a similar color. It's just kind of these geometric shapes. John Olson is a designer. If you Google John Olson, he has a lot of wrap designs, and what that style is called is Camo Cloud, where it's essentially these types of shapes, just exaggerated and not exactly. They're asymmetrical. things like that. So this style and that style are pretty similar in that way, where you can get away a lot with just using basic points and basic corners. So something like this here, just to make this look normal. A lot of guys don't wrap their pillars and posts and things like that, but on this car, we're just gonna do it like that. Just connect that just to keep it clean. And we'll bring this one out too. Something like that. A lot of guys aren't going to wrap up here. And so, you know, one of the options would be to just turn that like a flat color, like the pink color or white or black or something, just whatever fits best with the design. I'm going to pull another one of these down. Well, I'm just going to start over with a new shape. So I can do this guy here. Just something here brings it in. And I always like, you know, whenever I'm designing, I like to be able to see the points. Like I don't like doing stuff like this where the point goes off. If the point's there, like it makes the design look more aggressive. And the same thing here, like having this come out of the back of the tire but not continue through to show the beginning point, it just sort of looks a little bit unfinished. So I typically like to bring those things through just so you see the finishing, the starting and finishing point. The eye fills in the rest. Our imagination fills the rest in. So we don't need it to, you know, we don't need to worry about what's happening in the wheel well, but just giving it a starting and an ending point. Okay, so now I'll, again, use tilde, kind of, because see, this is kind of lining up with that, because all the patterns are going to line up the same. So you can see here in a couple of different spots where they're all lining up. Some of them they're not because I moved stuff around. But this one's lining up. See how it's all lining up? And so I don't want it to do that. I'm just going to randomize it. And there's also another way where you can actually rotate your patterns. So you just go to Effect, Distort and Transform. You're going to go to Transform. And in Transform, just make sure you uncheck Transform Objects and Scale Strokes and Effects. And then you can start rotating the pattern inside of it. So let's say we wanted to go 45 degrees, right? Now it's rotated 45 degrees. That's a bit much. So we can go 20. And again, that works really good for like simpler patterns that are like just like lines and things like that when you want to get angles on them and stuff like that. You're not limited to horizontal and vertical patterns. You can move them around. So I just wanted to show you that. Yeah, I'm not going to actually change this one, but I am going to move it around a little bit here like that, especially because this area here is going to be on the design, or you're going to be able to see it. So I want that to get up there a little bit like that. So that's good. All right. Facebook user says he's taken a Photoshop class. He can't find the tool you use to go around tools. When you get a chance, can you show me? Hey, if you email me a screenshot of my video of what I'm doing in the video, I'll be able to help you out there. I think you're talking about a clipping mask, but I can't exactly sure. And I did get your email, but I just couldn't tell what exactly you were asking. So, but I think you're talking about a clipping mask. All right, so we got the black shapes in. I'm going to turn my sponsors back on. If I find in my layers, here we go. All right, so we got all that. Ooh, I'm going to send this guy to the back. Put it in graphics layer. Put that in the graphics layer. Okay, now you can see. And I don't really care that like the D is on the pink and on the black. That doesn't bother me at all. And I don't mind that it doesn't have an outline either. That's fine by me. It still comes across really solid. And it's supposed to be a little bit kind of like a mischievous type of a design. It's not supposed to be perfect as long as it's readable. I'm not saying like sacrifice legibility. I'm saying sometimes you're going to have, you know, design themes that are going to be like that. And you want them to be like that. You don't want everything to be so predictable and perfect. So something like that. And then all right, I'll hide that, and then I'm going to go ahead and save this, and we'll look at what it looks like over here on the polish template. Should update. All right, there we go. So I think that looks pretty good. There's probably some more things that I would adjust, maybe up in this area and down in this area, just to make sure that things flow really well. I think I will bring this down here. like that. So that just kind of helps it. And the reason I had that green outline on is just a reference point to see the reference point. I'll save it one more time. Just take a look. So see, one thing that I did here, and that's what I was talking about earlier, is I have my black graphic here started out, but then what I got on the back or on the back side, I need to finish it over here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this over as a starting point, like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a look at it. So I think that looks pretty good. I got to get it behind that sponsor. So my kids just got home and they're going to start making a bunch of noise, which is going to make this really fun. So we'll call that done for the day. But I wanted to show you the update. I wanted to show what was available. I wanted to show you what was possible. If you guys have any questions, you can always hit me up at srgfx.com/support. If you have any trouble with files, courses, textures, anything like that, I'm always willing to help out on the support page. Thanks for following along. You guys have a good day.